How did your tight end look?
He looked good. Gray had a good day. You know, it was limited exposure, but you know the things that he did well and did him at full speed. So it was good to see him running around.
Ron, where were Derek and Garrett Gilbert today?
They're both sick, and you know, unfortunately, they're a little contagious. So we sent them home. We didn't want them to spread anything to anybody. So as you guys probably know, we had to reactivate in a fun way. Ken Dorsey. He had to play scout team quarterback for us, and we figured it was safer than having Pilardi do it. You know, we figured Kenny's expendable and Pilardi's a little more valuable to have somebody run into. So
Pilardi said he was just crushed.
He was too. He was over there warming up, and I said, "Are you kidding? Kick. That's all we ask is kick or punt."
How did Ken look in his return?
He looked good. His first throw he got intercepted, so that was a good thing. I'd hate to see him, you know, complete a bunch of balls, but he looked good. It was good to have him out there, and it kind of brought a little energy to everybody too. I mean, you know, we were in a tough spot. We didn't want Cam to overthrow today.
Who picked him?
Actually, we did. You know, through process of elimination, we looked at the coaches and figured out who had an opportunity, and it came down to him and Cam Turner. And we felt with his size, he'd probably give us a more realistic look.
Who picked him off?
Oh, who intercepted it? Bird, Jerry's Bird did.
Did Mike Shula try to get in the mix?
No, Mike stayed out of it.
Ron, you also, I guess, Ryan moved around a little bit
Yes.
out there. How encouraged are you about his?
I'm encouraged, but again, you know, we always talk about wait until the next day, and we'll see how he is in the morning. Same thing with Greg. I mean, like I said, they both had good days, but you know, there's always that you got to wait and see. And there's a whole bunch of other things that have to go in the process as far as Ryan's concerned. So we'll see how that is. But it was encouraging to see him out there, and he worked very well.
It sounds like maybe a few more levels of clearance where he's
Probably.
concerned.
I really couldn't tell you how that process is.
For a team like yours that just lost Curtis, but you're sitting here right in the thick of the playoffs hunt, what kind of boost would that mean to get a couple Pro Bowlers back?
I think it'd be a very big boost. I really do. Especially with what they do on the offensive side of the ball. We've kind of come together in the last few weeks as an offense. There's been a lot of positive signs. I mean, we're a completely different team than we were 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. And I think with being able to add Greg back into the mix, and when Ryan's ready to roll, I think that helps us too as well. So we'll see, and who knows, maybe another week or so we'll have Demir Bird back up, with some more speed out on the outside. So there's a lot of good things that can come for us as far as the offense is concerned.
In terms of roster, has Greg? What's the timetable to activate Greg from IR? Has that happened? I mean,
we have 2 weeks, and all we've done is we've I believe we notified the league that that we're in that process now, and we'll see how it goes.
Has that happened with Bird also, Ron, or not yet?
Not yet. Or no. Actually, we did today. We did as well. We put both those guys on notice that we would let the league know that both those guys are
in practice.
Yes.
A guy that doesn't get a lot of publicity, Ron, just because of the nature of your linebacker core is Shaq. What's he doing? How's Steve using him maybe a little differently than Sean did?
Well, I think a lot of it right now is it's very similar in terms of capacity of what we ask him to do. Everything from playing the big nickel spot to playing the Sam linebacker, and we've had him play the Mike linebacker. When Luke was out, that's all stuff we did with Sean. We have another package that actually Sean and Steve were developing. And before we got a chance to use it, Steve's using it now, and so I think that's one of the pluses. Is that it is something that was developed and worked on, they thought about, and now we have an opportunity to use it.
With him out in space a little bit more.
I mean, almost like a pure nickel.
And another guy who hasn't gotten a lot of attention. What should we know about how Darrell Williams is playing this year?
Playing very well. He's very stout. He's terrific as a run blocker for us. And he's protecting very well. I mean, his footwork, his technique has been outstanding, and it's taken a couple of years. And I think Coach Matsko and Coach Brown have done a nice job developing his technique and his style. And I just think with Darryl, it's just continue to work.
One wanted to get Moten in there in a bit of a rotation. Is Daryl just playing too good?
Daryl has played that well. He really has, and a lot of times the guy starts getting into a rhythm. You don't want to pull a guy just for the sake of pulling him. And I think what's happened is he's developed very nicely.
Go ahead.
I said you get to watch Greg on his telecast, and what impressions you got?
Yeah, actually, I did. I thought he did a nice job. I really did. I mean, every time he seemed to, get into a nice conversation, it just seemed so natural for him. And as I said, Greg likes to talk, and he did a very nice job with that. Though he really did.
You share all the secrets he got from Minnesota with you?
Without a doubt, we got a whole file.
Did you get a chance to watch any of that Saints-Redskins game?
Just bits and pieces. I actually had a list of stuff I had to take care of around the house. So
How
between,
much of that you get done?
I finished it all. That's why I didn't get an opportunity to really watch the games. I was going from one task to another.
For a bye week as a coach, do you need a weekend like that where you can do the honey-do list and not?
Yes,
immerse?
I believe so. I think, again, part of it is, let everything relax. Take a little bit of the stress off. It's funny, I got a text from one of my really good friends, one of my best friends from college, was one of my roommates, and he said, it's kind of nice to watch the NFL without any stress, because they cheer for us, and they've been big fans pretty much, and it was really cool. And it's true. Get a chance to relax and not have any stress for a weekend. I can live with that.
Well, a lot of back on Shaq, a lot of first-round picks might not have been so accepting of the kind of the role that he stepped into here, wanted to be on the field more. Was there anything in the pre-draft process with him that made you feel that he had that kind of personality that could accept it?
I think because if you watch the things that he did for the University of Washington, you knew that he was a very talented young man, a guy that seemed up to doing whatever was asked of him. I thought he handled that very nicely. When you watch the way he does things in practice, I mean, the guy is selfless. I mean, he does show team reps, he does special teams reps for practice and stuff. So, he's that type of guy, and just being able to talk to him and listening to him, you could tell there was a willingness to do what we needed him to do to help us win.
I ask a lot about Dixon with Greg Al. What about Manhurts and what he's gotten, and how does that add to what you can do with Olsefat?
Well, again, I think what it did was it really helped, first of all, for both Ed and Chris to develop. I mean, Ed to develop in that Y role an awful lot more, and for Chris just develop his technique as a tight end, and as in particular our U tight end. I think what it's going to do now is you'll have three guys that have different skill sets with different types of ability, and you can move them to different parts. Where Ed will go back and play the U and the F, and if we needed to, he can play the Y. And with Chris can play the U, or if we needed, he could play the F. So we've got some opportunity to move some people around and do some different things.
Anything else? With Curtis being out, do you think that he might turn to a guy like Kalen Clay to put some more speed on the field?
Yes, and then again, that's why I brought up also Demir. Demir's got to go through this, him being ready to go. But once he is, and we'll be able to get that guy back on the field, with some extra speed as well, and plus what he contributes with the special teams. I think both Kalen and Demir have a special skill set that you want on the field, especially in special teams.
Would Kalen be a kick returner if Fozzie isn't able to?
Kalen's one of them. If we get Fozzie activated, Fozzie would be one of them. Cap can be one of them. Shep is one of them. We've got a number of guys we can turn to, as well as Christian, obviously.
This is, I guess, one of those good problems to have, the log jam as far as who's going to be active.
Yes, very much so, and you wish you had at least one more body you're allowed to have active. You'd love to be able to have 47 out there, but you don't, and so we've just got to figure it out. A lot of it's based on how a guy practices and participates. Part of it be game planning. So there's a lot of things that go into play.